Okay, so here we have Michelle, our trainer extraordinaire, and she's going to walk us through the materials one more time before she goes into the process of making the paper.
Okay, so what I have here is the pulp mixture that was made a few days ago, and it's the 1-to-2 ratio, so it's a little thicker than the 1-to-3. So I also have 2 pieces of the Think Together whiteboard laminated sheets and a sieve and some basil seeds. You can use any kind of, I guess, can they use any kind of seeds or grass or flower petals, dried flowers?
Yeah, dried flowers. You can even use fresh flower petals as long as you break them up into bits, pieces of grass as well. And seeds, any seeds are fine as long as they're small enough. So we don't want like super bulky seeds or anything. But yeah, whatever you have on hand.
Then also a good towel, because I think we might have some excess moisture, and paper towels. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we're good to start.
And the bucket.
Oh yeah.
So for those of you that do not have a sink in your classroom, and you're not going to have a sink for every group of students, so a nice cheap bucket is going to be super handy. Okay, so what's the first step?
So I'm going to take this mixture and I'm going to pour over the bucket into the sieve and capture the pulp part. So that's my first step.
Okay.
I'm going to shake it up a little bit, and I'm just going to let it pour into here and let it drain out.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to press it down, the water?
Yeah, I'd like to get the water out. Should I press down all the way?
Yeah, you can just use your fingers.
I don't want to use my fingers.
Oh, okay.
When I'm just stirring it.
Mm-hmm.
When do I know that enough water has drained out or that too much water has drained out?
So you want it to be fairly soupy. A lot of the straining process is going to be happening on the laminated sheets of paper. So I know you can't feel this, but it's still pretty wet. Yeah, and it's still dripping. Let's see, hold it up. Yeah, see that? It's still dripping. Don't press it out. So don't like go in with your fingers, or don't, if you see the students like trying to press out all the water, tell them their mixture still has to be fairly wet.
So all I'm doing is stirring it in the sieve.
And I would say you stop right there because you want that water still. And she didn't do any kind of exact measurement. If you want to focus on measurement for your kids, you could have them do like a half cup, but we're not doing that. So go ahead and just dump it out.
Okay, this is the fun part. Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Plop.
Nice.
Oh, that was perfect, actually. It's all stuck together, but you could tell the students to kind of push it so there aren't any holes. Okay, and it is a fairly big pile, but she's going to flatten it out a little bit.
Ooh,
what kind
squishy.
of pressure are you using?
A lot of pressure, but it's really squishy and it's oozing out the sides.
Yeah, so you are going to have some cleanup during this activity.
And then how do I lift it off?
Really carefully, so almost peel it from one corner, just to make sure there's no paper sticking. But yeah, you can see it doesn't stick too much.
So a few things will stick, but do I smush it back into a shape again?
Yeah, smush it back into a shape. You could have your kids try to make it into a shape if they want. Don't, if they say they want to make a horse, probably you should discourage that because it'll be really hard. But simple shapes like circles and hearts we were making in the office, or butterflies, those are fine.
Do it again?
Yep. And they can do it for as many times as they need to get most of the water out and to get the flatness that they want. So is it flattening? Are you getting any holes? And she's actually pretty lucky. She's not getting any holes, but sometimes they're going to squish it up so much that they have like little pockets in there, and they could just put it back together again. Are you going to make a shape?
Okay, but do you think I need to squish it again?
What do you think?
Parts of it feels like still a little bit wet.
Do you want it flatter?
If we're making flat paper, then I would want it flatter, but if I want it more like 3D, then I like it the way it is.
Oh, then you could just leave it.
Should we squish it one more time?
Yeah, it's up to you. So they don't have to make super flat paper. If they like 3D paper, that's totally fine. You do want it to dry overnight though, because you're on a time schedule. So, that's perfect. Just shape it again, and you also can see that she's drying it as we go. And now she's going to blot it on top with paper towel. And she's pressing pretty firmly, but she's lifting it up really carefully.
Still a lot of water in there.
Yeah, and that's fine. Once we got to this point where there was still water in the paper towel, we just left it to dry, and it dried really quickly. It dried overnight.
Do you put it in the sun or in the shade?
We had it in a sunny window. Not extremely sunny, but yeah, the sunny window probably helps. So if you could put it in a sunny window, there was no air though, so it wasn't next to an open window or anything, and it just dried by itself.
How do I know if I'm doing this with like 20 other students? How do I know that this one's mine?
Oh, you want to label it?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever pens they use for their whiteboards, they could just use those. Just in case you have 20 beautiful hearts that all look the same.
Okay, label it.
Yay! And then let's see the finished product. So this is the white one.
Abracadabra.
Ta-da! So here it is. It got a little lighter when it dried. It didn't actually expand in size. This one was just bigger when we made it. And then we were teaching them how to write Chinese characters. So you could get some non-toxic tempera paint and paint a character. I think this is earth or tree. I should know. I think it's earth. And you can see this is the smooth side. So this actually looks more like paper. You could paint on either side, but we just chose to paint on the textured side. Oh my gosh, did we forget the seeds again?